Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. My name is Evan Mitchell. I'm the music director of the Kingston Symphony Orchestra. I am an orchestral conductor and I'm also a video gamer. I have been for most of my life. I recently actually just did a lecture for a university class on video game music, and when I was preparing it, putting together the materials, it occurred to me that I pretty much have been alive for virtually the entirety of the serious video game repertoire, shall we say. Because if we really think about video game music starting, video game music of consequence starting in 1985 or so, that would be when I was a very wee child. Coming to the NES from the arcades after, having the arcade experience and then having a home console. I think I got my Nintendo Entertainment System in 1986, I'm pretty sure. And of course, it changed things for me. I had gone to the arcade about once every week with my dad since a very young age, and then to have the ability to play games at home, it was just a revelation. So to play serious games at home, of course, one of the biggest, most serious games, one of the biggest revolutions ever to take place in video gaming is this game that we're airing footage of right here. This is Super Mario Brothers, the original. And I think that the thing about Super Mario Brothers is it's hard to overstate how important it was. It really is difficult to overstate because it really changed everything from a design perspective, from a musical perspective, from a gameplay perspective. It invented a whole genre. It essentially solidified the notion of what tight, responsive controls could be when jumping, when exploring, when platforming, and so it's really a remarkable thing. First and foremost, should there be any issues with the audio or anything like that, please let me know. I'm going to try and not have gameplay music on at the same time that I'm talking, so that I'm not sort of fighting for the mix. My setup is kind of bonkers right now. I just got over COVID, and so of course as a result I lost about 2 weeks of my life. So I'm still a little. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm totally fine, and I'm just a little mentally foggy a little bit these days. So please let me know if there are any issues with regards to the audio mix or anything, and please do ask questions. I'm happy to answer questions. So this is a stream where I'm going to be talking about some of the music we're going to be playing for an upcoming series of concerts. This is the Art of Video Game Music. It's taking place in Kitchener with the Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony Orchestra on November the 9th at 8 p.m. November the 9th at 8 p.m. at Center in the Square. You can get your tickets at kwsymphony.ca. And then a couple days later, on November the 12th, it's taking place in Kingston on November the 12th, 7:30 p.m. at the Isabel Center for the Performing Arts. You can get your tickets there at kingstonsymphony.ca. And I see that the KW Symphony has joined on this particular live stream. Hello, that's Devin, whoever it happens to be. Glad you're here. This concert's going to be really remarkable. I'm playing all sorts of music from great video game franchises: Mario, Zelda, Megaman, The Last of Us, Journey, and much, much more. Don't want to give away too much, but for tonight, we're just going to go through a little bit footloose and fancy-free as I go through a couple of different important video game moments, primarily from the NES era. I'm hoping to switch to my PS5 in a little bit to play either a little bit of The Last of Us or Journey to get a sense of that. We're going to be performing music for both of those franchises as well. Please do ask questions in the chat. I'm really happy to answer. Hello to Zbeev. Your 6-year-old son Solomon wants to say hi in the chat. Hello, Solomon. Very nice to see you virtually, of course. Hey, Jenny. Great to hear from you. It's going to be absolutely awesome. It will be, sure thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Great to hear from you. Okay, so I'm obviously showing some the track mode here of Super Mario Brothers. This again was a game that really changed everything. One of the most important things that this game did was change the notion of what video game music could be, and it did that with a relatively now it's absolutely an incredibly obtuse and obsolete piece of sound hardware. The NES Ricoh 2803 chip. This was a sound chip that had 5 sound channels. 2 of them are the pulse wave, that's where you hear most of the melody. It had a triangle wave as well. That's lower. That's where you hear the bass line. It had a noise channel for all the percussion effects. And then the fifth channel was for samples. So in the samples, you don't hear a whole lot of them early on because they take up a lot of physical space. Pre-recorded samples, even heavily compressed. But the original NES cartridges did not hold a lot. Like, I think that this Super Mario Brothers game is, in fact, like just a couple hundred kilobytes of data. Like, it's really remarkable. So 1 second of video that I'm currently streaming right now is about 20 times the size of the of the whole data for this entire cartridge from 1995. Hi, Sarah. I'm looking forward to the concert on Saturday in Kingston as well. And Alex is absolutely correct. The arrangements we're going to be hearing are wonderful. We'll get to that. But for the moment, let's hear a little bit of this iconic music and the 2A03 chip in action. One thing to bear in mind, too, is that this also was the origin of the Koji Kondo hook. This is a technique that composer Koji Kondo used in which when he starts off a new level or a new piece of music or a new track, he writes a very short introduction. In this case, for Super Mario Brothers, the most iconic introduction of all time, I think, which starts things off and immediately grabs you and drags you in. And once you realize that this is what Koji Kondo does, and in fact most other video game composers, you will never ever unhear it. So here is the opening of Super Mario Brothers, and I'll just mute myself and we'll start playing a little bit. Have a listen for all those different channels. 2 melody channels in the pulse wave, the bass line in the triangle wave channel, and the noise, which is literally white noise like static on a TV doing all of the drums. So let's hear a little bit of the iconic Underworld music. And so on and so forth. I'm playing all this cold, by the way. So if the gameplay is terrible, it's entirely because I'm out of practice, and it's an awful lot of games to sort of go through for this purpose. Please let me know if there are any issues with the audio. It seems actually YouTube's giving me a bit of a message here with regards to my upload speed. Particularly for this 8-bit stuff, I'm hoping that it's going to be okay. If I need to sort of like do a quick restart, I will absolutely do that. So this was Super Mario Brothers 1. Again, the Koji Kondo hook was that ba-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum, which is something I would wager that a solid percentage of all humanity is familiar with. Koji Kondo sort of invented that technique for video game music, and it's something that's been really quite remarkable ever since. And he, his importance can't be overstated, actually. Koji Kondo is really something that he's just one of those composers who essentially, in this case, he was the godfather of video game composition. He was the first, really, to do serious music. He understood what needed to be done for the medium, and it became sort of an active, participatory, supportive thing, as opposed to just another bell or whistle to draw you in, attract you, and make you buy the game or make you throw quarters in the arcade. So, of course, moving on to Super Mario Brothers 2. Yeah, let's just change the game here. I am playing this on my bona fide 8-bit NES. The only modification to it that makes it non-stock is that it outputs HDMI video, makes this a little bit easier. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. so this is Super Mario Brothers 2, came out a little bit later. This is actually a reskin of a game that came out in Japan called Doki Doki Panic. Doki Doki being a onomatopoetic way of describing the beating of one's heart in a panicked mode. It was not originally Mario themed, but it was a game that was designed by Shigeru Miyamoto, the mastermind behind the Mario series, and the score was Koji Kondo's. And when in Japan they released Super Mario Bros. 2, their Super Mario Bros. 2 was essentially what we would sort of think of as a very challenging DLC pack to Super Mario Bros. 1. Same sort of concept, same engine, much harder levels, more environmental hazards, more enemies. The difficulty was extraordinary. And so North American executives were a little concerned about the nature of how North American audiences would respond to that. So they decided to reskin this game, Doki Doki Panic, with characters from the Mario franchise. Because, of course, with Shigeru Miyamoto as the platform game designer, it was going to have some translation. So it's obviously a very different game than Super Mario Bros. 1. And this is something that Nintendo would often do with trilogies or quadrilogies or beyond of its franchises. The second game would go in a completely different direction. We'll see that a little bit with the Adventures of Link, Zelda 2, in a little bit. But let's play a little bit of Super Mario Bros. 2, and you'll notice that in this case already there is some advancement in the way that Koji Kondo is, in fact, scoring this music. He has a greater sense of understanding of the 2A03 sound chip already, because we've got more counterpoint in the violins, more counterpoint in the pulse wave channel with the melody, more fun stuff happening with the triangle wave and the bass, and some interesting effects and modulation of the noise channel and of the pulse wave frequencies, which changes and just basically gives a whole bunch of different more colors with regards to the music. So here we go. Let's see. All right, so you get the idea there, and Alex, you're absolutely right. There's so much more going on than what we had originally, experienced with regards to Super Mario Brothers 1. Now, this trend is going to continue with regards to Super Mario Brothers 3. Let me just change this over. Changing games. Okay, so we're gonna change over to Super Mario Brothers 3. Now, this is a game that is absolutely incredible. I think it is on IGN's #1 slot for the very best game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is a game that was in development for quite some time, and it was essentially they knew it would be the swan song for the Mario series on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And as such, Shigeru Miyamoto and his team put everything they had into it. They refined the controls, they refined the graphics, they got more bang for their buck out of all the computational power of the NES, and that includes the 2A03 sound chip. The biggest thing you're going to hear from the music with regards to Super Mario Bros. 3 is the increased complexity of all the counterpoint from the pulse channels, more fun, more modulation. You'll hear some really crazy percussive sounds. This is from the sample channel that has timpani and bongos and congas and this sort of thing. So let's see. We'll switch over to the gameplay here. So we're gonna play a little bit. Before I get into this, it's worth mentioning that I think in Super Mario Bros. 1 there are 34 individual levels and 4 different musical tracks for those levels. The castle level you don't hear very often. The underwater theme you don't hear very often. Super Mario Bros. 2 has a grand total of, I think, 20 levels, and it also has 4 different musical tracks. So that's, with Mario 1 and Mario 2, that's 52 levels individually. Super Mario Bros. 3 has a grand total of, I want to say 70 levels, each individually. It has 8 different overworld themes on the overworld maps. It has, I think, 8 different musical themes for the levels, boss fight themes, Hammer Brother themes, Toad's House, and minigame themes. So this was just an extraordinary, exponentially bigger output for Koji Kondo when he was putting together this incredible score. So we're going to play a little bit of Super Mario Bros. 3. You'll get a sense of the overworld theme, the first level, again with another Koji Kondo hook, and we'll play a little tiny bit here. Here we go. Okay, we'll see if we can find another level with different music. Ah, yes. So that's Super Mario Bros. 3, and it's honestly, it's such a remarkable thing. There is so much depth to this game. Again, this came out on the eve of essentially just a couple of months before the Japanese release of the Super Famicom and eventual North American release of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And the fact that they were able to draw so much out of what was now absolutely antiquated hardware was really remarkable. I mean, you can come back to this game and play it, and it feels fresh, it feels exciting. The controls are so tight. Oh my goodness. It's as though they spent the majority of their time just refining millimeter by millimeters, sculpting the control for Mario as he jumps and as he runs and as he flies. It's truly a joy. FYI, folks, again, I'm continuing to get some weird. I'm getting some weird notifications from YouTube about my upload. It seems like I'm having a little bit of problem with my internet. Let me know if there's an issue here, and I can maybe do a quick stream reset. if there are any problems, just let me know in the chat. I am watching the chat feverishly here. Okay, so let's change games. What do we have next? I want to talk about Megaman for sure. So let's go to Megaman. We'll change games here. So I'm going to now pop in Megaman 1. Now, while I'm doing this, let's see. We've got Megaman 1 was a game developed by Capcom. Capcom, prior to this point, was not known for NES games. They were known for ports of their arcade games, Ghosts and Goblins and the like. Megaman was one of their very first forays into an NES game that was built expressly for that purpose. And, it was kind of a strange thing because, the arcade, these video arcades that I speak of that no longer really seem to exist and definitely date me, and tell you how old I am. The purpose of the arcade was to take your money. It sucked you in with bright lights and, flashing graphics. The first level was always easy. The second level was hard as nails. And it was just basically this machine, this industry that was designed to eat up your quarters. When you're at home on a home console, particularly with hardware that can sustain actual experiences that were longer than just like one or two looping screens, which was basically the limit of, let's say, the Atari 2600 or ColecoVision or Intellivision, you had to take a different sort of game design. Now, Mega Man did just that. Mega Man is a remarkable game in which there are a couple of different innovations. The first of which is that you get to choose what order you traverse the opening levels. There are 6 robot masters in this game. You as Mega Man have to defeat them all. And in doing so, you acquire their special weapons. And when you go from one to the next, each boss actually has resistance to some special weapons and weaknesses to some special weapons. And there are a couple of stage designs in the platforming that will change the order in which you attack the levels, will change the equipment you have and therefore the experience you can have. So this is really a novel thing for 1987. Remember, again, from a game company that was primarily known for making arcade games. So the Mega Man series, because it's these individual levels, they're all in different settings. One great feature of Mega Man is it always has spectacular music. Now, I've talked a little bit about the trends of like sequels getting more and more expansive, more and more better understanding of the 2803 chip. This is a prime example. So Mega Man 1 here, the title screen is this static thing, no music at all. I haven't even muted it. It's just no music at all. So when we begin, we'll see the title screen, a little bit of a loop there. I'll pick someone. I'll probably pick Iceman, I think, because that's sort of indicative of most of the tracks here. And you'll get a sense of just what gameplay is like for Mega Man. And you know what? I have not practiced this at all, and Mega Man is quite difficult, so I prepare for embarrassment. We're also seeing some unoptimized code here with slowdown. Very much a hallmark of 1987 games. Oh, I'm instantly regretting my choice here. Anyway, so we've heard a couple of loops of Iceman's stage. Let's listen to. We'll listen to another one, for example. We'll listen to Elecman, actually. Elecman is someone who is featured on this concert, the music from Elecman stage. Okay, and that's a full loop of Elecman. Oh my goodness. I'm going to do all that again. I just realized that I did not have the gameplay. I had the gameplay on mute. Sorry, let's do Elecman again one more time. My apologies, everyone. Sorry. This is the problem when you're running the audio yourself. Okay, so here's Elecman. Elecman is one of the charts we're going to be hearing here. Listen to a full loop of this. Okay. So that's a full loop. That's a full loop of Elecman. And that's those two charts, those two songs, Iceman's theme and Elecman's theme, they're pretty much indicative of the nature of Megaman 1's music. It's good, it's catchy, relatively simple usage of the 2A03 chip, not a whole lot of percussion effects, very simple usage of the noise channel. So we're going to fast forward now to Megaman 2. Megaman 2 was never meant to be, because Megaman 1 actually did not sell very well. Megaman 1, the executives at Capcom were not particularly happy with the way that it sold. And so the programmers of Megaman 1 had so many ideas about where to go for a sequel that they decided to ask the executives at Capcom if they could do it on their own time while they were producing other titles. And the executives said yes. And so it was like this tiny development team, as was Mega Man 1, with all sorts of new ideas. And the composer of Mega Man 1 was Manami Matsune, who also came on to Mega Man 2 to compose a couple of things. I think a little bit of Airman's theme and also the main title. But Takashi Tateishi was the composer for Mega Man 2. And already you get a sense of more involved usage of the 2A03 chip, much more syncopation, and that really crazy rhythmic drive that absolutely is the iconic NES music sound. So here is Mega Man 2. I'm probably going to no signal for a minute. We'll try and get some of the opening music here from the opening title. It'll kick in a sec. Remember that Mega Man 1's title screen was just static, no music. That's just amazing stuff. So already they're using the music to tell the story here, and they're using a much more ambitious graphical style with the parallax scrolling up the building. This is a game in which was obviously a passion project for everyone. So we're going to jump to the into the gameplay. We're going to start with Flashman, one of the all-time bangers in the Mega Man series, and I'll just play a bunch of different levels. But you'll get a sense of the advancement here, more involved stage select music, and just incredible music for each one of the individual stages. In this character select menu, the better usage of the noise channel for the drums, different colors in the instruments from the pulse wave. Here's Flashman. I wish I went for that E-tank. Okay, here's the boss. I'm dead. Oh no. Wow, look at that. Let's kill time on the subject of orchestrations. So we're doing a Mega Man suite, courtesy of arranger Andreas Hedlund, and all of the arrangements of this music from the 8-bit era in particular. What I'm so appreciative about these scores that we're performing, these suites, is that obviously, in spite of all the crazy stuff and cool stuff the composers did with the NES 2A03 sound chip, it's obviously very limiting. And an orchestra is the opposite of that. It's almost an infinite sound palette. And so, the great thing about Andreas Hedlund and all these other arrangers is what they've done for these charts is that they've taken, the boops and the blips and the noise channel of the NES game's 2A03 chip output, and they've extrapolated. If it sounds like a samba, you've got Latin percussion in the orchestra. If it sounds like a march, you've got the brass going great guns. If it's, something more internal, if it's a bit of a funeral march, it's very somber strings. These are the sorts of things you just couldn't accomplish with the 2A03 chip. And I think that the color world that is evoked through these arrangements is really second to none. Let's take a listen to some of the other great tunes that come from Megaman 2. Here's Airman. This is actually my ringtone. Okay. We'll go back and we'll do one more of just the regular stages. We'll do Quickman, because Quickman actually does something very interesting with regards to the usage of the percussion of the noise channel. Through modulation, it can apply a metallic effect, and it's really quite abrasive and irritating. But for Quickman's stage, it's absolutely perfect. So here's Quickman. That's what I get for looking at the stream. That's what I get for looking at the stream health. Okay, so that's Mega Man 2. And of course, this was a huge smash success. Mega Man 2 blew away the sales numbers for Mega Man 1 and established this as like this incredibly, hugely successful franchise. And so the follow-up with Mega Man 3, of course, was even more. Everything was more. Oh, you know, before I get to Mega Man 3, I am going to play you one more chart from Mega Man 1. And of course, this is Dr. Wily's first stage. Once you beat all of the Robot Masters, you face off against Wily. Here we go. The most iconic of all the Mega Man tracks from this. Wily's Castle, first stage. See if I can do this. Putting my gamer credibility up to the test here. So this is the, becomes an auto-scroller with the dragon. Does not give you much room to maneuver. Big jumps, actually. So taking a look at the time here, I want to talk a little bit about some of the more modern games that we're going to be playing on this series of concerts. One notable franchise that I did not get to is The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda is something, the music specifically of The Legend of Zelda is something that I could talk about for probably 10 hours without breaking a sweat. Again, Koji Kondo, all the way through, truly remarkable. And what he was able to do for not just game music, but sound design as an element of musical composition is something really remarkable. All you need to know is that it's the nostalgia factor is 10 out of 10. The craft of it all is 10 out of 10. And we're going to be playing a suite of Zelda music that encompasses music from the first Legend of Zelda game, A Link to the Past, and of course, obviously, the Ocarina of Time, which many say is the best game ever made. Ocarina of Time from 1998. Arguably the greatest revelation and revolution in all of gaming, considering what the hardware was at that moment. 1998 was a really remarkable year for games because you had quite a bit of amazing stuff coming out in 1998. 1998 was not just the Ocarina of Time, but it was also Half-Life, an absolutely revolutionary first-person shooter experience. And it was also, I believe, Halo Combat Evolved. Halo, the Halo series will be entering into the music there. So just 1988, pretty big year for video gaming. We're going to jump a little bit ahead to the future. We're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit right now. We'll start with Journey. Now, Journey is a 2015 game. Pardon me while I switch over my inputs here. I'll sort of speak up a little bit. I'm switching to my PlayStation here. Journey is a game that was developed by that game company and was released as a PlayStation exclusive in, I think, 2015. And you'll have to bear with me here because I need to resize the game footage. When we go here, let's try here. Oh no, it turned out just okay. Look at that. So Journey is a game that was actually, again, developed by that game company, a PlayStation exclusive. This is a game that will take you about, I would say, under 2 hours to play. Any person can play this game and beat this game, and I recommend that you do, because this was, I would say, the greatest, most surprising gaming experience of my adulthood. We are starting our concert with both the Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony Orchestra and the Kingston Symphony Orchestra with selection from Journey. It's a score written by Austin Wintory, who is an LA-based composer of concert music, film music, and of course video game music. His game music for this game was the very first in the medium to ever be nominated for a Grammy for digital excellence. I consider myself privileged to be sort of a bit of a digital pen pal with Austin Wintory, and I think it's just magnificent that we're going to open the concert with some of this music because, in my opinion, this is the greatest musical score of contemporary video gaming. Journey is a spiritual experience. It is not a traditional game. It is not a traditional game experience. It is something indescribable, and I really don't want to spoil too much of it for you, but suffice it to say that the main character in this game, a silent protagonist, is represented by the cello. You're going to hear a lot of cello in this opening sequence, and of course in the opening moments of the suite that we play, the two selections that we play for this concert. Yes, Journey is on Steam. It's no longer just a PlayStation exclusive. It is on Steam. It's probably under $20. I can't stress this enough. Everyone that is watching this should play Journey. Journey is astonishing. It's absolutely incredible. So here is the opening of Journey, the opening cut sequence. Just listen to Austin Wintory's incredible score with the focus on the cello. given the prompt here. It's obvious that your first goal is to move towards this landmark. Austin Winter himself has talked a lot about the importance of music spotting, that is to say, when there is to be music in a video game and when there is not to be music. You'll notice that this is devoid of music. We can just focus on the task at hand and revel in the incredible physics and artistic design of this game and the sand. The dynamic music comes in as we get to the top of the hill. That's our goal, the mountain with the split peak and the light source. So, interesting notes about this particular game. Again, for much of it, we see this mountain. We know that's our ultimate goal. But along the way, we find other divergences off the beaten path. Climb up here to get the ability to jump more than just these little hops. There is no dialogue in this game. So now, I have been given the ability with that little scarf jump. I can only do it once before I get it refilled by these little scarf guys, so I have to be careful how I use it. Eventually, I'm going to run into other people who look very similar to me. These are other players in the game. They are other PlayStation and Steam players, experiencing the journey in the way that you are. You can't talk to them. You don't know who they are. All you can do is chat with them by virtue of little chirps. This is the extent of the communication that you have. When I first played this game, I didn't even realize that was, that's what they were. So now we hear the cello theme played on alto flute. More magnificent, iconic sound design by Austin Wintory. Always adapts to what's happening in the game. And again, I don't want to spoil too much of it. I'll just tell you that actually I was introduced to this game by Aline Choman, actually, one of the first violins in the KW Symphony. I played it for the first time on between Christmas and New Year's. I think this would have been 2015. And I was sick as a dog, and I was alone for the evening, and I was told that I could beat it in one sitting, and so I did. And I had no idea what I was in for, and I wept uncontrollably throughout the course of this game. It's a masterpiece in every aspect. I will reiterate that Austin Wintory's score is, to my mind, the best in contemporary video gaming. This is a must play. I won't give away any more of it. Okay, so let's see here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop in The Last of Us. For those of you who are in the know, there was recently a re-release of this game called The Last of Us Remade, I believe, The Last of Us Remake, for specifically tailored for the PlayStation 5. This is the remaster for the PlayStation 4, played on a PlayStation 5. Here's the opening title. It introduces a motive of 3 notes. Ya-da-dum. So, we just get fragments. We get those 3 notes, the possibility that it becomes motivic, but it's really abstract. It's really not much of anything. 3 notes is almost the smallest number of notes you can have for a motivic idea. There's not a lot of music in The Last of Us, but this motive features every time that our main character, Joel, encounters a human relationship that he is trying to avoid and yet is drawn to fulfilling. In this game, let's see here. We're going to play through it on easy. I'll play it without audio for the moment, just be able to... no, I don't need to save. Let's just... Yeah, it's fine. I'll play it without sound for the moment, just so I can talk over what's happening. So, in The Last of Us, at the very beginning of the game, you encounter Joel Miller and his daughter, Sarah. They are... they're very happy. There's sorry, so this is violent, a violent game. I should mention, if there are any people who are triggered by violence, now is the moment to realize this is what's happening. Very sorry, I should have said something beforehand. So Joel is caught in the middle of an outbreak of this virus, which turns people into rage monsters, essentially, and it represents the end of civilization. Oh, come on. The end of civilization. When he is trying to get away from it, ultimately his daughter is shot and killed. And when we fast forward to, I don't know, I want to say like 10 years later or something, he's a husk of a man. Just barely doing what is necessary to survive. Again, I know I'm playing this on easy, folks. I'm just trying to get through it quickly. He encounters Ellie. Ellie turns out to be someone who is immune from the disease. And over the course of the game, he is escorting her to the scientific labs of the Fireflies. They go through a lot of hardship to get there. They go through... Okay, what am I doing here? Let's see if we can find something a bit more effective. Yeah, I'll use my... Oh, I didn't reload either. I guess I'm playing this cold. It's a bad idea. Let's see if I can just run through it. He eventually gets Sarah to the Firefly Labs in an effort to... oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna need to run. I'm gonna need to spend some time actually, just I think using a bit of a different approach. Let's see, where are we here? Oh yeah, I can. He gets Ellie to the Firefly Labs, and finds out I need to heal. He finds out that in order to be able to synthesize a vaccine for what's going on, it's going to kill Ellie. And so the climax of this game is when Joel finds this out, and he ultimately decides whether Ellie's sacrifice is worthy of humanity's continued existence. He has to make the choice. Oh, here we go. That's what I have to do here. Okay, good. Run, run, run. So he loses his daughter, and then Ellie becomes his surrogate daughter. That's essentially the thrust of this game. Dramatically. How did I miss? Okay, there's a checkpoint here. You're not supposed to run through all this stuff. It's, I just want to, pardon for the salty language as well. I want to get to sort of the emotional climax of this where we hear this 3-note motive one more time. It is the culmination. It's represented again by the cello as sort of Joel's feelings. And finally, it's given context and realized as a fully formed, tragic offering. So let's see. I'm pretty sure I can get through here fairly easily with a couple of smoke bombs. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to get to the point in which Joel, after having risked his life a dozen times, killed hundreds of people to get Ellie to the Fireflies, he then tries to get her back because it's going to kill her. Okay, here we go. Smoke bomb over there. Oh, swing and a miss. There we go. That should do it. Oh, come on. You're okay, Joel. Come on. Come on, buddy. All right. Yeah, no kidding, Echoes.
That should buy me some time.
Okay. So this is the procedure room.
Sweet Jesus.
Doctor?
What are you doing in here? I won't let you take her. This is our future. Think of all the lives.
You fucking animal!
Carrie, shut the hell up.
So now,
Come on, baby girl.
as he literally sacrifices humanity, we hear the theme in the cello and it becomes a tragic chaconne.
Oh, shit. Shit. I'm getting you out of here, girl. I got you. I got you. Come on. Tell me which way. We're okay. We're okay.
I said get back! Stop!
Now, I won't spoil any more of it for you. Sorry about that. But it's important to recognize the magnificence of that musical design as composed by Gustavo Santaolalla, who is the Oscar award-winning composer for many musical scores. I think he won for Brokeback Mountain. He wrote an incredible score for the music that is in The Last of Us. Ultimately, that's the thrust of that musical development, is that ya-da-da, those 3 notes sort of representing the 3 notes in the minor scale. They start out unfocused when he loses his child Sarah. As he becomes attached to Ellie, it becomes more fully formed. And then it culminates in that beautiful descending passage with the cello. That's what we're going to be performing for these concerts. It's truly remarkable. The Last of Us is also another must play. I think that's That's a game that you can only play on PlayStation, I believe. But if you can find a way, if you don't happen to have a PlayStation, that's, I would argue, the greatest game of that generation originally, which was it was a PS3 game, I think, originally. And it's really something else. Naughty Dog, the developers, they are very, very good. So I have hit the hour long here. I think that what I'll do here is I'll give you a little bit of a taste of something that we're going to be doing in the concert. This is just sort of a little bit of an added bonus. I won't play too much of it, but I wanted to give you all a chance to understand that, like, I'm going to be staking my own gaming credibility, putting it on the line. During the intermission of both of these concerts, I am going to be playing Contra for the NES, released in 1998. Notorious for its difficulty. And I'm going to be doing so in less than the time it takes to have our 20-minute intermission. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a taste of Contra right now. This is sort of a little bonus intermission activity. I'll just play the first level or so. No Contra code for this guy. 3 lives. Seeing as that I've missed the spread gun, I will just do the rest of the level without any guns whatsoever. That's my chance. This is why you can't look away. Oh boy. How embarrassing. Well, this definitely didn't go the way that I intended. Should this even happen at the intermission? I'm not afraid. Let's see if I can YOLO this here. Oh, okay, redemption, I suppose. So, come hell or high water, I will in fact use the better weapons in the run. I'm hoping to be able to beat the game in about 14 minutes. It's not going to be, I'll just get the R for the sake of slightly faster destruction this time. It should be said that I have the distinction of having maxed out the score of Contra. After about 6.5 million, which is 10 times through the game, it stops awarding me points. During my little COVID convalescence, I also saw how far I could get without dying once. Got to 3.7 million, which should be a Twin Galaxies record. They are currently moderating that and seeing if they believe it to be true. I didn't show a video of my NES starting up, which apparently is a thing you have to do these days. One of the reasons why I don't particularly enjoy doing the pea shooter only runs is that it's an awful lot of button mashing. But I'll beat these first 2 levels with only the pea shooter gun. Just take my time a little bit. Avoid war catastrophe. So check it out. Make sure to get your tickets for this concert in Kitchener, November the 9th at 8 p.m. at Center in the Square. Tickets at kwsymphony.ca. In Kingston, Let me just take a quick look here. Kingston, November the 12th at 7:30 p.m. at the Isabel Bader Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets at kingstonsymphony.ca. All sorts of magnificent music from The Last of Us, from The Legend of Zelda, Megaman, Mario, Bioshock. Much, much more. Legend of Zelda, of course, if I didn't mention that. And it's going to be a lot of fun. You get to hear a magnificent. Oh, there's another thing that did not go to plan. I need that B. All sorts of magnificent video game music that spans from 1985 to 2015, played gloriously by your Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony Orchestra and your Kingston Symphony Orchestra. Tickets are going fast. You don't want to miss it. This is, I think, the first time that either of these orchestras have presented a wholly video game music-centric concert. Oops. And you absolutely don't want to miss it. Again, I'm not blowing smoke. I do think these arrangements are astonishing. They're beautiful. They showcase the true intention of all the music that was written before orchestral soundtracks could be included in video games. And as for the, your Final Fantasies, your Last of Us's, your Journeys, where we have music that does, in fact, include original orchestral arrangements, orchestral tracks, we play them very faithfully. It's as you knew them from your childhood or from recently. Honestly, this is just, as a conductor who is obviously a committed video gamer, I really can't say enough about this concert series. I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to be absolutely magnificent. I actually haven't made a point of saying anything about asking questions recently. Should anyone have any questions, I'm happy to continue playing Contra and answer questions. Isabel Bader Center. Let's see. Dress code casual. Can I tell him to wear a nice shirt regardless? You can tell him to wear a nice shirt if you want. It's absolutely not necessary. I have seen people go to symphony concerts in leather and all sorts of chains. The answer for what should you be comfortable to wear, what should you wear to a symphony concert, is ultimately whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to dress up, hey, that's nice. Some people like to do that. I do think that in general, a video game-based concert is probably going to be a little bit more casual. So you can, wear whatever you want. I will be wearing a suit, but I have to. It's actually part of the symphony dress code. Is the program set, or are we taking suggestions? The program is, in fact, set. Part of the reasoning for that is that one of the things that we have to consider when we play music is the licensing of all this music. Of course, the composers who wrote these incredible scores are largely still alive. And so, we make selections that are based on what people want to hear, and we make sure that the composers are fairly paid. And so the process of doing that involves setting things up way in advance. In general, I would say about 90% of what you experience at the concert has been taken care of weeks, if not months, in advance. Ironically, one of the things that is sort of the shortest period is the rehearsal period. We're going to be doing rehearsals for the KW Symphony concert. I believe rehearsals start tomorrow, and then the concert is, boy, it's been a long time since I beat this guy with a pea shooter. Oh boy. Rehearsals start tomorrow, and then the concert is 2 days from now. And I should have taken care of this first, because the bubbles are going to... Oh, here we go. That's good. So that's... let me just take a look at the next question here. You have to rehearse. Happy to take more questions about myself, my gaming experience, symphony orchestra, any of that sort of stuff. It's actually good practice for me, because I'm going to need to be able to beat this game while talking to audience members that are hanging out in the lobby. It'll be a little bit easier once I have the spread gun. Devin, if you're still there, if there's anything that I haven't said that you would like me to pass along to to all the people in the stream here. I've kept the game audio muted so that we can properly hear my voice here. We're not going to be playing any music from Contra anyway. This is the music that you will hear from Contra will come from my bona fide NES console as I beat it under pressure on a TV I'm not familiar with in the intermission for both of these concerts. Should be very strange. What is my favorite game? My favorite game is Super Metroid for the Super NES in 1993. Super Metroid is one of those games that I can't believe exists. It's that good. I will say that I do think, again, my favorite gaming experience as an adult, from a contemporary perspective, has been Journey. I think that one of the great things to happen to video games lately has been the evolution of independent game studios. Oh, this is going to be a mash. Here we go. The very best precision platformer ever made is 2018's Celeste. That's a game that is on all different platforms for probably about $25. Celeste is a must-play, a modern gaming experience. I think that Breath of the Wild is an astonishing achievement in gaming. I think that Super Mario Odyssey is a remarkable achievement in gaming. Let's see. Recently, what have I played? I have recently played a game called Inscription, which is another independent game. The game starts out as kind of like a Magic the Gathering digital version of like a card-based game like Hearthstone or whatever. And then it's quickly apparent that there's more to it than meets the eye. I think the very best multiplayer experience of all time was Left 4 Dead 2. Valve's Left 4 Dead 2. If the console servers had continued to be operational in any capacity, I would be playing Left 4 Dead 2 probably every day of my life, and I would not be a successful musician, I would say. Oh boy. Have I ever played Hollow Knight? Hollow Knight is another game that I think Hollow Knight is exceptional. Hollow Knight is arguably the best of the Metroidvania styles, but Super Metroid was the one, Metroid was the one that did it first. Super Metroid is a game so good, it's hard to believe that it was possible, that it was created with 16-bit hardware. It's just astonishing. What it's able to do as a minimalist masterpiece, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. So, you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't mention Earthbound. Earthbound is a JRPG for the Super NES that does not conform. Whoops, jumped too early there. That does not conform to many of the tropes that one expects with regards to, RPG games. Earthbound is so goofy and so wacky, and then it becomes very, very dark and very surprising, and you realize that in spite of all the jokes and such, you have become intensely obsessed with these characters and involved with these characters and invested in their well-being. I know, Earthbound's amazing. All right, let me just take care of this guy. This is Jumpin' Joey. Don't throw 3 cars. Oh, you Jumpin' Joey. So what have I died twice here? 3 times. 3 times. If you're coming to the KW Symphony show, this is Devin. Oh yes, I'm going to the AOK Beer and Arcade. I have yet to figure out what exactly we're going to be doing there, but I will be making a visit. AOK has all sorts of magnificent arcade cabinets and some pinball machines. I'm very excited to go there and do a bit of a talk and say hello to people. Please do go to AOK. Barcades are amazing, and AOK sounds like it's just going to be a ton of fun. Ooh, you're ducking. That's not fair. I do want to stress, folks, that I'm not going to beat the game with the pea shooter during the concert. I'm going to be using better weaponry here. I guess I'm just flexing a little tiny bit for all of you who are joining me on this live stream. just because you're so special. I'm obviously comfortable enough to continue doing this and answer some questions, which is delightful for me. I actually haven't practiced while I've been talking to people, so this is pretty good. So any other questions? Again, very happy to answer. I would say I'm probably about 3 or 4 minutes away from the end of the game here. Oh, not even, actually. I guess this is the second last level. For the record, my hope is actually going to be no deaths. When I do the run... Whoa, Contra. When I do the run live in person at the intermission... Let's see if I can YOLO this or two. Mash, mash, mash. There we go. Is most of your gaming console-based, or is there a lot of PC gaming too? There is less PC gaming. I'm very much a console kind of guy. I have typically found that the console toxicity is everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. But with regards to like PC gaming, there's just more cheating. There's much more strangeness in the community, more homophobia. I find these sorts of things. So I find PC gaming a little less appealing. Well, I better make the most of this. Oh, he said, I better make the most of this. Invincibility. Sorry, pardon me. Got to keep talking. I know you guys aren't listening to the game music here because I've muted it. So I don't play a whole... I do have a PC that is capable of... it's got a decent graphics card. Ooh, this is not good. All right, so let's see here. Let's do this last dude. The heart. Oh, my goodness, that's not fair. There we go, folks. Contributing with the pea shooter. Okay, boy, a lot of questions here. Who orchestrates the 8-bit music, or is it sent to you pre-orchestrated? So we get these charts coming to us in the orchestra library. They have been pre-orchestrated. The string players go over to make sure our bows are all going in the same direction, but they have been orchestrated by very good musicians, composers, orchestrators, and arrangers. And again, these charts are so fantastic. They're very much faithful to the original in the case of contemporary gaming. They are wonderful arrangements for the earlier 8-bit, 16-bit stuff where you don't actually have real instruments playing. They extrapolate the composer's intention, which I'm really grateful for. What's the earliest console you'll be playing music from? That will be the NES. 1985's NES. Probably the earliest piece of music I think would be 1985 Super Mario Brothers 1. What are your thoughts on the Super Mario Brothers movie coming out? Do you think the movie will do the games any justice? I honestly don't know. I don't think that there are really such a good thing as good video game movies. They're sort of inherently different mediums, and I think that that's part of the issue. I don't think that movie studios actually really take the attempt to do these sorts of things seriously, and that's part of the problem too. I am very much looking forward to the HBO miniseries for The Last of Us. I think that who's that? Pedro Pascal playing Joel, the actor from The Mandalorian. I have high hopes for that. I really think that there's quite a bit of potential. No Commodore 64. You know, there's a lot of great music for the Commodore 64. That had a pretty advanced sound chip. I'm thinking of like the iconic stuff from the Commodore 64. Monty on the Run. That's the one that sort of comes to mind here. Actually, so just a quick point here. For those of you who are not familiar, when you beat Contra, it loops you back to the beginning just with a lot more guys hurled at you. I confess, I've never beaten the game twice without using the more powerful weaponry. We'll see how just this first level turns out. Yeah, no Commodore 64. Now beat the OG TMNT. I have, in fact, beaten the original Ultra Games Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. That's a game that's notorious for its silliness, its high difficulty level. I have beaten it. It's been a while. Okay, let's see if I can YOLO this again. Nope. The gun said no dice. What about Michael Land's The Dig? You know, I'm not familiar. I confess I'm not familiar. So that's maybe I just my experience is not wide enough. But I do think The Last of Us game is going to be really something. So buy your tickets now. KWSymphony.ca, KingstonSymphony.ca. Tickets are going fast. This is going to be an exceptional concert filled with music from Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, Megaman, The Last of Us, BioShock, much, much more. And some surprises. One thing that will not be a surprise will be that I will be beating this game, Contra, for the NES, on demand in the intermission. I'm going to finish conducting the last piece of the first half. I'm going to stroll out to the lobby. My NES is going to be set up, and I'm going to be playing this game. Hopefully won't embarrass myself. And then go back to the second half of the concert. And for the KW Symphony, in 2 days, I think at 5 o'clock, I want to say, 5 to 6, I'm going to be at AOK, wonderful barcade. I'll talk to you. I can answer your questions live. I'll have a burger or something. Maybe I'll bring my NES, or I'll see what their NES setup is. I think they actually have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade cabinet that I'm jonesing to play. You can play with me there. Yeah, play a couple games of pinball. Going to be a good time at AOK. Woo, why did I do that? That was a very bad choice. Yeah, magnificent concerts for both the KW Symphony and the Kingston Symphony. Really? Robert Daniels asks, really? Robert, what are you referring to? Referring to AOK? Yeah, I'll be there at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Today Monday. I have no sense of time. Let's see here. Oh, and of course someone's trying to call me as soon as I'm trying to pull up my phone. Yes, 2 days hence. 2 days hence, I'll be at AOK in downtown Kitchener, taking questions, doing a little bit of a talk, playing some games, and then a couple hours later, on stage with your Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony Orchestra, and this magnificent concert score, The Art of Video Game Music. I'm going to beat Contra at halftime, and you're going to hear some unbelievable music and some unbelievable musicianship. I'm obviously feeling very saucy here. I did not get the invincibility item. What am I thinking? Let me just beat this level, and then we'll call it a night. I do feel like this is quite the, let's put on the music here a little bit. Now that the questions, I think, are pretty much over. Not being aware of The Dig, a fantastic PC point-and-click invention. No, I'm not, but you know what, Robert? I'm going to be taking a look at it. So here's the last strains of Level 3 of Contra's second loop with the pea shooter. See you all very soon. Get your tickets now. KWSymphony.ca, KingstonSymphony.ca. Don't miss this. Oh, Contra! Where'd that guy even come from? Oh boy, another Mash Fest. Here we go. See you all soon, everyone. Thank you very much. Again, get your tickets now. Going to be amazing. Look forward to seeing you in Kitchener and in Kingston with Score, the Art of Video Game Music. It's going to be absolutely tons of fun. Thanks for catching this live stream.